Okay, what if I told you the secret to getting rich wasn't about cutting out lattes, but about actually spending more money on the things you love? Sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, that is the brilliant counterintuitive idea at the heart of Ramit Sethi's book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And today, we're going to break down his entire system for building wealth on autopilot. The goal? So you can spend extravagantly on your passions, totally and completely guilt-free.
You know that feeling, right? You finally treat yourself to something you really love. I don't know, a great meal out, a weekend trip, maybe that gadget you've been eyeing. And boom, almost immediately, this wave of guilt just washes over you. That little nagging voice in your head questioning the purchase. That's the real problem here. And listen, it is not your fault. It's a symptom of these hidden beliefs about money that we've all picked up along the way. And today, we're going to drag them out into the light.
So, the root of all this guilt is something Ramit Sethi calls invisible money scripts. And I love this analogy. Think of them like the operating system running in the background of your financial brain. They were installed years ago, by your family, your friends, society, and they're dictating all your financial decisions on complete autopilot. The thing is, until you rewrite that code, they are the single biggest obstacle standing between you and a rich life. Period. Here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by figuring out your money script. Then, we'll talk about spending extravagantly, not cheaply. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the 6-week automation system. We'll cover why you should forget lattes and find your big wins. And finally, we'll put it all together to design your rich life.
All right, first section, what's your money script? Let's dive right in. Think of this as a little bit of financial archaeology. We're going to dig up those hidden stories and beliefs that have been secretly pulling the strings on your financial decisions for years, probably without you even having a clue.
So, do any of these sound familiar? We don't talk about money in this house. Credit cards are just a scam. Stop spending money on lattes. Or my favorite, the stock market is just gambling. Look, these aren't just harmless little phrases. They're powerful, powerful scripts that literally install financial anxiety in your brain. We don't talk about money teaches you shame. Credit cards are a scam teaches you fear. And believing the stock market is gambling, well, that's a surefire way to never build real wealth. The critical first step here is just to recognize them for what they are. They're just stories. They're not facts.
Okay, so now that we've kind of diagnosed the problem, let's get to the solution. This is where we get to spend extravagantly, not cheaply. Ramit's whole idea here is pretty radical. Stop pinching pennies. Seriously, the goal is not to be cheap. The goal is to completely shift your mindset from focusing on cost to focusing on value. And here's the difference in a nutshell. On one side, you've got cheap people. They're all about the cost of something. They're always trying to get the absolute lowest price on everything, thinking very short term. But on the other side, you have conscious spenders, and they care about the value of something. They will cut costs mercilessly on things they don't love, but then they spend extravagantly on the things they do. It's all about long-term thinking. So yeah, maybe you buy the generic ketchup. Maybe you use an older phone because you're freeing up a huge pile of cash to spend on what actually makes you happy. Maybe that's a trip to Japan, or just amazing dinners out whenever you want. And this really gets to the core of it with this quote from Ramit, "Spend extravagantly on the things you love and cut costs mercilessly on the things you don't." See, money is just a tool. It's a tool to build your rich life. And this whole philosophy gives you permission to finally stop the guilt and start being intentional. So the question is no longer, can I afford this? The question becomes, is this valuable to me?
So, how do you actually do this? Well, here it is, the conscious spending plan. This is the practical framework. You take your monthly take-home pay and you just divide it into 4 simple buckets. Okay, so about 50 to 60% goes to your fixed costs. That's rent, utilities, the boring stuff.
Then a non-negotiable 10% goes straight to investments like your 401k. Another 5 to 10% is for savings. Think a vacation or a down payment. And then here's the magic part. That last 20 to 35%, that is your guilt-free spending money. You can literally blow it on anything you want because you've already handled all the important stuff. You've paid yourself first.
If you are finding this video helpful, please make sure to hit that like button and share it with someone who this might help and be a benefit to their financial decision-makings. Your support means a lot to me and helps the channel grow, allowing the YouTube algorithm to show this content to a bigger crowd. More people can benefit from these ideas and hopefully improve their financial well-being.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. That all sounds great in theory, but who wants to track every single dollar in a spreadsheet for the rest of their life? Nobody. And that brings us to the engine of this entire system, the 6-week automation system. This is the practical, step-by-step solution. The whole system is really built on just 4 pillars. It's pretty straightforward. Number 1 is optimize. Get the right credit cards and high-interest, no-fee bank accounts. You want accounts that pay you instead of charging you. Number 2, invest. Open that 401k and a Roth IRA. Even if you just start with a little bit, the key is to start. Number 3, plan. That's where you create the conscious spending plan we just talked about, so you know where your money's going. And finally, number 4, the big one, automate. You set up an automatic money flow between all your accounts, so on payday, your money just goes where it needs to go. You don't even have to think about it.
And that's the whole point. The goal is to save and invest while you sleep. This system is all about finally playing offense with your money instead of constantly playing defense. You do the setup work one time. Maybe it takes a few hours on a Saturday, and that's it. Then the system works for you forever. Your wealth is literally growing while you're sleeping, while you're at work, or while you're out enjoying that guilt-free spending money we talked about.
All right, this next part is maybe one of the most powerful ideas in the whole book. It's time to forget the lattes. Seriously, focus your energy where you're going to get the biggest results. It's time to stop sweating the small stuff that so many financial gurus love to obsess over. Look, stop debating the little things. Your willpower, your mental energy, it's a finite resource. Wasting it agonizing over a $5 latte is a terrible use of your time and energy. Instead, Ramit says you should focus all of that energy on the few decisions that get you disproportionate results. He calls these the big wins. So, what are we talking about when we say big wins? Well, things like automating your savings and investments, which we've already covered. Negotiating your salary just once can be worth thousands of dollars a year. Improving your credit score. Aggressively paying off your high-interest debt. Creating that conscious spending plan. If you nail just a few of these, you will make so much more money than you could ever save by skipping coffee. Get the big wins right, and you can literally buy all the lattes you want. Okay, so let's bring this all home. How do all these pieces fit together? This is where we get to design your rich life. The mindset shift, the automation, the focus on big wins. Look, this isn't just about piling up a bunch of money in a bank account. These are the tools. These are the tools you use to actually design and build your specific rich life, moving you from money anxiety to real financial control.
And hey, this isn't just some theory. Check out this quote from a real reader, Ross Fletcher. He says, "Since implementing a fully automated system in 2011, my net worth went from zero to close to $450,000. I never have to worry about money." I mean, wow, that's what this is all about. It's about transforming your relationship with money from this feeling of constant anxiety to one of complete control. Just take a second and imagine what that would feel like to genuinely never have to worry about money again. That is the ultimate goal. So to wrap it all up, here is your Rich Life Playbook. Step 1. Uncover your invisible money scripts. You gotta know what you're working with. Step 2. Spend consciously, not cheaply. 3. Automate your entire financial system. Set it and forget it. 4. Focus on the 5 to 10 big wins that actually matter. And finally, the most important part, define what a rich life means to you.
And that really brings us to the final and honestly the most important question of all. What does your rich life look like? Because a rich life, it isn't about some specific number in your bank account. It's about freedom for you. Maybe it's traveling for 3 months a year. Maybe it's quitting that job you can't stand. Or maybe it's just being able to order whatever you want off the menu without even looking at the price. This system doesn't tell you what your rich life should be. It just gives you the engine to go build it. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?
Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching. I'm Finance Puppy, and here's to a better financial tomorrow. Cheers!